And just like that, we're back. Views from Section 400, special edition as we kick off Bowlmas 2024. The guys are excited to bring you through all 12 days of Bowlmas. I think it's 12 days. But yeah, 12 days of Bowlmas. We're going to rock and roll. Like I said, day one, NFL recap. We usually have the guest on, but we're going to kick it off for you guys this year because why not get the best of views from Section 400 in the holiday spirit, in the holiday, I don't even know where I'm going with that, but it is Section 400. It is the season of giving, man. I don't know. I'm pretty pumped up. I know the boys are a little, I don't know about Jack. Brian's a little under the weather. I've had this crazy headache for the last week and a half. Jack, how you feeling, man? You on the down train too, or are you the only one who's going to keep us together?
Look, it's Sunday night. It's been a long weekend. A lot of holiday festivities been happening. Not a lot of sleeping. Yeah, I don't know if I'm in any better shape than you boys right now.
Well, the one thing we all can have common ground on is analyzing and dialing up this NFL slate because whether we're feeling good, bad, or indifferent, we always have some time for NFL football. But before that happens, let's go over a little bit of our schedule over the next couple of days as Bowlmas has started. We have obviously day one today, the NFL recap. Indiana, we had our good guy, Z-My guy on for that one, comes out for day two. Penn State, I wasn't on for that one, but Brian told me all the guys on that one brought great energy and snuck in a little NFL talk. I know there's some big Eagle fans on that one, and I know they snuck a Giants fan in there too to try and keep Brian somewhat at bay.
Yeah, we somehow talked about Daniel Jones for like 10 minutes in the Penn State episode. So you'll want to tune into that one.
Definitely one to tune into. But the Pit one comes out day four and then follows up with FCS playoffs, which Brian is known to be a hater of. That is heating up right now. So we'll get into this whole week is action-packed. But before we get to that, we have to hit day one, which is right now. And we started off with the NFL recap, as we do every week, but a little bit special now as we have it being I don't even know what I was going to say there. Yeah, Bowlmas. Dude, my head is a fog machine right now. I swear to God, that's what it is. But real quick, apparently, and I didn't even check this, Jack, how did our matchup pan out today in the first round of the playoffs?
I think that you are going to take care of business in that one. I think it might still be open.
Think?
I wasn't checking too hard.
Yeah, that wasn't a dig at you because
I wasn't.
I genuinely.
I mean, I could let you know
either.
real quick here. He's projected to win by about 55 points.
No shit.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's not very close.
Well, I know I got Devontae Adams, or got hit with Devontae Adams today, but I don't know who else was in the matchup that made an impact.
Yeah, I didn't look that deep into it. I looked at the bracket and I saw it was projected like 165 to 120, and I said, "Wow."
Well, yeah. Sorry to do
I'm surprised you even checked that. You didn't even make the playoffs. Like, why are you even?
Well, in our college league, I made the playoffs, so I'm already on sleeper. I might as well check in on the Views League too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I was winning in the college one, so at least I got that going for me.
At least you got that, but yeah, I don't know which one you want to start with first, but that 4 o'clock slate was unbelievable. We can kick it off with some Steelers-Eagles talk because I think you guys just need to shed some respect on Coach Baldiani and just that entire team that got laughed off the pod for calling the number 2 team. I said the best team, but even number 2 team in the NFC, I got laughed off. You guys had the Falcons, which is just a joke, more of a joke each and every week. So I won't kick off the Steelers-Eagles talk. I'll let you guys talk about this game and let's see what angle you spin that somehow the Eagles are not this great team that's destined for the Super Bowl. Whichever one, not everybody at once.
As much as I'd love to immediately start clamoring about how good a football team the Eagles are, it is going to be sponsored by our good friends at SeatGeek.
The weather may be getting cold late in the year, but the sports action is heating up. With the final stretch of the football season upon us and basketball season now here, The only place to go for the best tickets for each game is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast, and whether you're looking to sit courtside of the Sixers game, find a last-minute deal up in Section 400 for the Iron Bowl, or looking to just cheer on your alma mater in a preseason basketball tournament, SeatGeek's one-of-a-kind system helps you find the best deal for the best seats in the house. Use code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
All right, well, before I will touch on the Falcons thing because they were 6-3. They were a good football team, and then Kirk Cousins forgot how to play football. But we don't need to talk about that right now. The Eagles are good, all right? They're a good team. And they might be the best team in the NFC after what just happened to the Lions. But the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. The Bills have become a very good team on the other side. So I'm not gonna sit here and say the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. But I will say I'm a little worried.
Yeah, dude, I definitely would be. And it might actually be the Bills' year in terms of getting there and knocking off the Chiefs just because, we've already seen it happen. But Mahomes got hurt today. And we know he gets jacked up and shot up with all these painkillers and ends up being fine. But he got hurt. And
Yeah.
it's a lot earlier than last year.
Andy Reid said the X-rays were negative, so he's day-to-day. And he would have played if the game mattered. But
right.
Yeah, no, it's never good, especially in a year he's not being a dominant Patrick Mahomes. Any kind of injury could really derail him.
Yeah. And what do you got, Jack?
I was just going to say, I mean, the Chiefs handled this one as we thought they would. They still have a great defense who were on display today. I know they played our boy Jameis Winston and got him to turn it over quite a few times.
James got benched. Unfortunately,
he got benched in the middle of this game.
They brought in DTR.
What was it, after the third or fourth pick?
At the one point in the fourth quarter, we had DTR taking on Carson Wentz. That was the quarterback matchup in this game.
And if you could bet on that at one point in the game, it'd be DTR versus Wentz, probably 10 to win $3,000. Wentz was still in the league.
Yeah, he completed both of his passes. He's 2 for 2 for 20 yards.
Mahomes on the hot seat.
Maybe. QB competition in Kansas City.
But no, since I don't expect the homer bias Eagles hype up. So that's where I come in. And this team absolutely is the best team in the NFC. I think that the defense is lights out. The defense is better than the Lions defense. And the offense is probably on par to what they have. I won't say they're way better, but probably on par to what they have. I know the Lions have been a little more explosive on offense at times, putting up those 50 burgers. But I think week to week they have, roster to roster, the offense is about the same. And the Eagles defense is probably better. Now, granted, Lions went through a lot of injuries. So that's tough for them to overcome. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how the rest of this season or regular season trends. But look, the Eagles are right there to take number one in the NFC, hold the playoffs, get the bye, which is huge. The Eagles aren't like the Phillies where time off will affect them. Time off will actually be great for this team. And if they get the number one seed, it's 2022 vibes all over again. And I think they got a better shot at getting it done. Which, oh, by the way, I know we've been over this. They had every right to win that 2022 Super Bowl. I mean, 38-35. That's a sickening. I still get to this day, fun fact, have watched those highlights of that game. I watched it one time. That was live. That's it. Doesn't need to be watched again. But that's a sickening game in itself. And
So with both of these teams, the Lions and the Eagles being 12-2, if they both win out their last 3 games of the season and finish 15-2, who has the tiebreaker as the 1 seed?
I honestly, low-key think it's the Lions.
I think it'd be conference record.
conference record.
which wouldn't make any sense either because no, yeah, it would be the Lions because the Eagles' 2 losses are NFC teams.
Yeah, and I mean the difference between a hypothetical NFC Championship game in the Link versus Ford Field is massive, especially with Jared Goff needing his indoor.
Yeah, for sure. I
He
mean,
would be
you
rattled.
can expect Jared Goff to play 2 to 3 times better at home in the dome versus outside in the Link in February or January. That sounds like a terrible day for Jared Goff.
It's a terrible trade-off. And look, we've already seen him throw 5 interceptions in the dome, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Jack doesn't like that one, dude.
I mean,
Like nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I still think this, at least this week, this game showed more about the Bills. The Bills scored 90 points in their last 2 games.
Yeah.
The Lions defense does have some issues, and the Eagles defense is definitely better. The Eagles defense is like historically good, which is another reason they're scary. But I think it still shows way more about Josh Allen and what he's doing. He's putting that team on his back. And he's the number 1 receiver is Khalil Shakir. And Amari Cooper hasn't looked that good either.
I think it kind of, and would have loved to see Saquon win MVP, but these last couple of weeks of what Josh Allen's been doing, the way they just knocked off the Lions, his statistics, his stats are just unbelievable this year. That the way we see MVPs get handed out, it's all but wrapped up for Josh Allen.
I think so too. And did Saquon get hurt in the game today? I saw Kenny Gainwell getting a lot of run.
Who looked really good, by the way.
He did look good.
But so it was initially rumored of a potential concussion, but then he was on the sideline, like working out his hamstring or his leg. He did end up coming back, not as an effective game as we're used to, but again, a standard for Saquon has been 125 plus and a couple of TDs. So, an off week for him is, a good or great week for any of these guys who go up against him. But I mean, it was crazy. What I thought was kind of interesting is why could they not maybe flex one of these games to 8:20 so we actually could watch both the games, right? Like, I didn't love that.
Pretty good game tonight.
Well, it is, but like, I didn't love that. I couldn't really focus on one game, which obviously I did with the Eagles. But I wanted to watch that Bills Lions game as well, which I just feel like I couldn't be as dialed in. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Those were the 2 games of the week. I was watching a lot of the Steelers and Philly game, honestly. I don't know why, thinking about it now and looking at the box score and especially throwing on the Bills and the Bills game after the Eagles game had ended, like the last 8 minutes of that game, just watching Josh Allen be so incredible, MVP worthy. I don't know why I was watching the Eagles Steelers game, which was a hard fought defensive game, but I think I learned a lot about both the Steelers and the Eagles in that game. I don't think the Steelers are a real legitimate threat. I don't. I think Russell Wilson. I'm on Brian's side of the table now. Russell Wilson is so bad that I don't think that he can win them a championship. I really don't.
Yeah, I definitely have to pump the brakes a little bit on them going. Well, I didn't have them winning the Super Bowl, but I did say AFC Championship game, which still I guess could be on the cards because, have they played Baltimore yet? They can still beat Baltimore. I think they can beat that Chiefs team. He looked horrible today, Russell Wilson, because the Eagles defense is that good. And it's the reason why Brian's rattled right now that the Eagles might win it all.
He was also missing George Pickens. This passing offense without George Pickens is not very good at all.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
No, he's just spamming Freiermuth.
Calvin Austin. It's like
that's
not a very good.
No, it doesn't help when he pitches the ball to Najee Harris and he just flat out drops it.
He had Calvin Austin wide open. Calvin Austin had 3-4 yards on a linebacker, and Russell Wilson couldn't get enough air under the ball and throw it deep enough. He threw it somewhat behind him. Awesome catch by Calvin Austin. Adjusted, made the play for like 30-40 yards, but if Russ throws that, on a string or out there, places it out there like in stride, it's a 70-yard touchdown pass, and you need to be able to make those plays if you want to win a championship.
I totally agree. But yeah, I mean, it was the primetime window for a reason. I mean, these games were pretty good or great, depending on what you were looking to see. Obviously, like you said, that Eagles-Steelers game a little more defensive-minded, and Bills-Lions, absolute shootout. But great stuff. Wish I could have, maybe watched one and then the other, not having both run. But it is what it is. You can only get so much when they jam-pack every single game into this weekend because there's no more buys. But, we can jump right into the 1 o'clock slate here. And it's I'm surprised Brian's not fired up because his Super Bowl pick is
I'm fired up. Yeah, I was just waiting to get here. We had to finish talking about the good games before we can go back into the slums and talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, who now have over a 10% chance to make the playoffs after this week. Moving up in the world.
Was it just some weird juju from Joe Burrow when he's like, oh, these wins won't even matter anymore? It's just him being like
yeah, it was the reverse jinx.
Jinx.
Yeah, he's setting records, and like it's not even mattering because the defense is so bad. But he became the 5th player today to throw 3+ TD passes in 6 straight games. That list is Tom Brady, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, and Dan Marino.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit because
elite company.
In the first couple of weeks, that under 34.5 looked really, really good. And I thought I had the sharpest play of the over-unders that we gave out for the season. So I just think that's ridiculous in itself. But the most nonsensical play was Bengals to win the Super Bowl. And
yeah, well, okay,
I get it. You have to live and die by it, but I think you're holding on to this a lot. Like you said, you know what? Bad take, let it go. But Brian, you're holding on to this harder than I did with Chase Claypool.
Yeah, but I mean, Chase Claypool was cut by like the third week.
That's a good memory. I like that.
That was a good memory. Forgot about that.
Yeah, because I fucking cut ties with it immediately. You guys couldn't let it go.
Brian, let me ask you something. Can we cut ties with the Super Bowl and just strive for that 50 touchdowns?
No, because of what I'm about to tell you. The Broncos and Chargers play each other next week. The Chargers lost this week. If they beat the Broncos, they're both sitting at 8-7. The Bengals get the Browns, they'd be 7-8, and then the Bengals get the Broncos the week after. So if the Bengals win their next 2, the Chargers beat the Broncos next week. The Bengals are right there in the last week of the year.
I think Brian's dressing that up a lot nicer. Like, there's the one team can lose, and that whole thing goes to shit.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the Chargers have to beat the Broncos, but the Chargers are at home. It is at home in LA, so how at home really is it? But they are the home team.
I guarantee you there's a sea of orange in SoFi.
Yeah, and Bo Nix in a dome is definitely going to help too.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, Brian's Bengals are still alive. We just touched on the Chiefs, who didn't look great. Mahomes' ankle, was it? Not broken, but 21-7. I wouldn't say that was exactly a shootout, but we've touched on the Chiefs' defense just being lights out. Maybe, top 3 or 4 in all of football. Right now, for me, it's the Eagles, and then I don't know who trickles in after.
Yeah, they're up there. I don't understand what they're doing. Isaiah Pacheco must not be healthy yet because there's no reason Kareem Hunt should be getting as many carries as Isaiah Pacheco in 2024.
I think they might have exposed too much information to Kareem Hunt, so they don't want to fire him or cut him and then have I swear to God, and have him go to a contender that's rivals with the Chiefs and potentially, sabotage the Chiefs' playoff run. I don't know, but because I agree with you 100%. There's no way Isaiah Pacheco should be getting,
he got less carries than Kareem Hunt today.
Yeah,
he is coming off the injury. It's only his second game off the injury.
He came back on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's been like 3 games.
It's been almost a month. I guess maybe 3 weeks. But
And he was practicing like 2 weeks before.
if he's healthy enough to get 14 carries, he's healthy enough to get 21 carries. Kareem Hunt's not good at football.
I agree. I look, he was 10 years ago or 7 years ago whenever he burst on the scene, but I don't know.
I'm not going to like sit here and try to tell you that he is. That's not what I'm like, debating with you right now. I'm just saying, Isaiah Pacheco, he just had a big time injury where he was out for most of the season. Give him some slack. They look
I
again.
guess they don't need him, but like,
that was also what I was going to say. This was a game against the Browns where they held them to 3 points. 7 points. Like they held them to one score the entire football game. Why would you use your stars if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, who are obviously making the playoffs? I think they already have a playoff spot clinched. Do they not?
Yeah, they clinched the division last week. But like it always seems like with these Chiefs teams, they get hot at the end. They struggle in the beginning and then they get hot at the end. They're kind of just sitting there, like in limbo, just squeaking. I know they won by 14 today, but they haven't been impressive. They're just kind of getting by teams. And when you have the Bills sitting there putting up 40 points a week, the Bills are going to come into the playoffs as a well-oiled machine, and the Chiefs are going to come in with Patrick Mahomes on one ankle and Kareem Hunt getting 15 carries a game.
Well, I think we're lucky. We're really going to see what this Chiefs team is made of over these last 3 weeks before the playoffs start. They have the Texans, and then they travel to Pittsburgh and travel to Denver. So some good defenses there.
Pittsburgh's on Christmas too, right?
It is on Christmas. And then they play the Broncos on January 5th. So, that's a divisional game, good defenses. Well, I feel like we're really going to see who this real Chiefs team is before the playoffs even start this year. Because
that's also great for the Bengals, by the way. I didn't realize the Broncos still have to play the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
That game's in Denver, right?
Yeah.
I think Denver wins that game because of how badly they were robbed in Kansas City. So I think that's a lock for the Broncos. You guys remember that game, right?
Yeah, that was they just decided not to block.
Robbed, absolutely robbed. So I got the Broncos all the way there.
Yeah, that would be a really tough way to. I mean, maybe the Chiefs lose on purpose, so Burrow doesn't get to go into Burrowhead and beat Mahomes.
Maybe, dude.
Yeah, actually, though.
But the way the Bills have been trending with Josh Allen just seems like it's destined to be for. How crazy the Chiefs have been. Like, it seems like they should be like a 5-6 loss team right now, and they only have 1 loss. So
yeah, they do that. I forget who does it, but someone does like the what if index, where if you flip the records of all the 1-score games, and obviously with the Chiefs, they just make the play because they're a championship identity team, so it doesn't really carry much weight, but they'd be a 500 team.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think anybody's super scared of them. I don't know that their schedule was incredibly hard this year, was it?
Their division's not terrible, but the AFC, very top heavy.
Yeah. Let's keep moving on here. Obviously, we saw Jameis come in and throw 3 picks, got benched, and then Carson Wentz made an appearance. So some side notes. Good for that guy still being in the league. But a game that was wild that I don't think got a lot of attention was that Commanders-Saints game. I mean, the ending was nuts. I'll let you guys play head coach there. Is that the right call? You're going for 2 because you're kind of playing with house money and your team's so bad, or you're kicking the field goal to send in the game?
You're the inferior team. I think you always go for 2 as the inferior team.
Yeah, right. A shot to end it right there.
I think so too.
But we can agree to play calling. And again, if it worked, then we're not talking about it. But that play, they ran the same play. They scored on the touchdown, and then they did the roll right, flood right on the 2-point conversion, and the Commanders were all over it.
Yeah, threw right at Marshawn Lattimore too in his revenge game. It's not gonna work.
So I think they could have maybe went with a little bit of a better play call there, especially not doing the same play you just scored on the touchdown with. The Commanders were obviously ready for it, and that's why it didn't go down.
Yeah. And in the spirit of Bowlmas here, I have one stat I thought was kind of fun. So obviously, Spencer Rattler came in here, and he went to South Carolina. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman at LSU. South Carolina hasn't beaten LSU since 1994. So I guess Jaden Daniels kind of carries on that legacy. I know Spencer Rattler didn't start, but
I mean, sure, you could throw that in there.
That's a fun stat. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
We also have South Carolina coming up later in the week here for a Bowlmas episode. So shout out Gamecocks.
Yeah, the real USC.
No, you are alone on that hill. That I will never. I'm happy you came around on Russell Wilson. I will never join you on that USC take.
Yeah, it was always Southern California.
Okay, cool.
I'm just
there's also the University of South Carolina.
Yeah,
but
University of South Carolina.
Or you're the one who's religiously calls it.
Yeah, and then
refers to South
Carolina.
There's
the University of Southern California.
Google USC.
Tell me which one comes up first.
Look, that was a cool stat, Brian. But
Thank you.
You think if do you know if they match up next year? South Carolina and LSU?
They did this year, and LSU won. They only do it like once every 4. Maybe with the new expanded SEC, they'll play more. But Rattler and Jaden Daniels never matched up. They played in 2020, and then Rattler came to South Carolina in 21.
Yeah, whatever. I really was hoping the Saints stole that one at the end, and I think that would have cemented the Eagles' division.
Yeah, it would have put the Eagles in a position to clinch next week. And now if the Commanders can beat them next week, they're still alive, technically.
But if the Eagles win against them, that gives the Eagles +1, and then the Commanders also drop.
Yeah, so the Eagles would still clinch, I guess.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
It just makes it stressful for no reason. Thanks, Saints.
Commanders 3-point underdogs at home next week, by the way. Early spread against the Eagles.
Jalen Hurts loves playing in that shithole of a stadium. It's what it is. Here's another shit show game. Cowboys-Panthers. You know the Panthers were favored in this game for the first time in like 25 games.
34.
34, okay.
2 seasons worth of games.
First time ever. And somebody put $150K on the Cowboys or on the Panthers. Who in their right mind would put that much money on Bryce Young?
Yeah, that's Smith.
I don't know.
Somebody who's just hating on the Cowboys. I mean, they're out of their mind. Bryce Young has looked better than he ever has in his career, which is not a high, benchmark at all. But the Cowboys weren't losing this game. Their defense has actually looked pretty good over the past few weeks, and I know that they've had injury after injury after injury. DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't been healthy since fucking Vietnam. Trayvon Diggs had another knee injury. So, they haven't been healthy, but they're still making it happen, and that they did today, too. I don't know if you guys saw the Bryce Young fumble, but in live time, it looked like the most unathletic thing I've ever seen a football player do. He was just, diving forward, and it looked like it just slipped right out. I was like, no, oh my gosh, that did not just happen. And then you see the replay and you see the Cowboys defender actually punched him in the arm. It wasn't even in the ball. He just punched him in the back of the arm and the tricep, made him fumble. But yeah, Bryce Young he's not going to be much. I know we're happy for him getting better and all that.
Be careful. We still are getting comments about our Bo Nix clip from draft night on TikTok about people saying this aged like milk. So just be careful on your criticisms here.
Was I shit on him?
Bo Nix ain't all that good.
Yeah, I still agree with that. But yeah, this was another game where you ask just a random person on the street, do you think the Panthers or the Cowboys are going to win? And 99 of the 100 people you ask are going to say the Cowboys. And they'd be right. The Panthers beat the Cowboys twice in 1997, and they've won just 3 times since then. They're 3-15 against the Cowboys since 1997. They're just the fact they were favored in this is lunacy, and the fact someone bet 150K is even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But yeah, Brian, you seem to think Rico Dowdle is good now, or just because you have him in fantasy?
He's been putting up good numbers. He had
Yeah,
another
has been putting up numbers. Yeah. Was that
Is he
three
like-
three straight 100-yard games?
Yeah, and they finally are giving him the ball. Again, we talked about Kareem Hunt in 2024. They were still giving Zeke carries in 2024, and now they finally stopped doing that. And they just let Rico cook.
Yeah, I saw Zeke get like a handful of carries today, and every time they gave it to him, I was like, what are we doing? Yeah, get Rico back.
Yeah, those are like respect carries or pity party carries, dude. I mean, that guy's no business getting 10 plus carries and having that role, but it is what it is. Jerry Jones continues to run every aspect of that team on off the field. He probably has a hand in play calling for all we know, and you know, he figures handing the ball off to Zeke makes the Cowboys money, and he's been very clear that Cowboys are ran as a business purely for profit. So that's what they do.
CeeDee Lamb caught a touchdown there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb early and often. And look, you got to give it to Cooper Rush, who got absolutely bashed on for being a horrible quarterback. I mean, he's played decently well.
He has played.
You know, they got other issues. But shit, I mean, he goes out there, plays hard, and tries to do the best thing for the team. You know, Dak Prescott, you know, that guy found every excuse to not take blame and to kind of point the finger and just – I mean, CeeDee Lamb doesn't look like he's getting pissed off with Cooper Rush, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, I'm surprised. We saw the Saints sign Ben DiNucci. I'm surprised the Cowboys didn't try to run it back with DiNucci.
Now that's a guy who's not great at football. So we'll kick it back off with the Dolphins and the Texans. I thought the Dolphins were going to come back until obviously Tua threw that. The first down when you got a chance to go down the field and score and you throw a pick on first down, a minute 47 left, like it's so infuriating. I'm not even a fan of any of these teams, but it just makes me angry when it's first down and you have a chance to go down the field and score at a minute 47, this, that, and the third, and they don't get it done.
Yeah, the Texans
play.
The Texans tweeted out the highlight of that and captioned it "Hawked Tua." By the time when we started this recording, it had 38,000 likes. The final score graphic they posted had 800 likes.
Really? And who coded this out?
the Texans Twitter account.
Dude, you're getting reckless with these fucking team accounts.
They're the fucking worst. I hate the Texans, man.
Yeah, remember you said they weren't going to win the division?
When did I say that?
In our AFC South preview in August.
Oh, preseason? Yeah, a lot's changed since the preseason.
I was gonna say you were Jags over 11.5 wins.
Yeah, there's been a lot of developments since the preseason, that's for sure.
Well, they did win the division. They clinched it with the Colts, who we'll get to later, but they lost to Denver. So the Texans will be going back to the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure last week I said it doesn't really matter what goes on with the Texans. They don't have to win football games in order for them to make the playoffs. Like the rest of the AFC South is such a choke that at this point they just have to, survive and advance to the next week because the Colts will lose out, the Titans will lose out, the Jags will lose out. We're not competitive teams right now.
No,
and
but yeah. And I know we're about to jump. What do you got, Bri?
I was just gonna say the Dolphins are pretty much dead now.
Yeah, definitely in the water. And I was gonna say, because I know we're about to jump into some Jets and Jags and Giants and Ravens, but the one thing I'll take away from that Jags game is their jerseys were sick. I mean, those old school Jag jerseys, I mean, they might have lost their soul when they went away from those jerseys because the all black helmet with those jerseys, I got to give them props there for bringing those back. They should bring those back permanently. I mean, those things are sick.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with you. They're awesome jerseys.
Speaking of the old jerseys, though, so I saw this on Twitter. And this is, I guess, a trend right
Here
now,
comes
but
Brian hates the jerseys take.
no. There's that trend of like someone tweeting the old logo of a team. So I saw someone tweet the old Jaguars logo, and they said, "Who's the first player you think of when you see this logo?" Jack, I'm interested what your answer to that would be.
Tony.
Yeah, I think the correct answer is David Garrard.
I mean, he was up there, but Tony or MJD or Freddie T.
I
Those
saw
those are the top three for me, and then there's Garrard.
I saw a lot of MJD and a lot of Fred Taylor, but not enough
Yeah,
David Garrard, and I was very disappointed.
I mean, David Garrard would be number 4 on my list for sure.
Okay.
Wait, was Steve McNair not a Jags guy, or was he Titans?
Yeah, no, he was
He was
I think
Titans
Titans
and
quarterback.
Oilers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Houston Oilers. That's right.
yeah, I was thinking quarterback, but I guess Gerard's the guy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, either way, if there's one thing to take away from their season, it's they got the jerseys that look sick. And Mac Jones, what are our thoughts on
He had a nice
that?
spin move.
He had a decent game, but he's a Brian Thomas Jr. merchant. Look, I'll give him credit. He did something that Trevor wouldn't or didn't, I don't know what the right word is, do, which is throw the fucking ball to Brian Thomas Jr. This dude is easily the best wide receiver in this draft class. It's not even close after this game today. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been an absolute bum by all expectations. And Malik Neighbors has definitely shown flashes, but there's no way that you're going to put him on the same level as Brian Thomas Jr. after you see what this guy's been able to do against a defense like the Jets.
I was about
With
to
with
I was
Mac
about
with
to
Mac Jones as his
say
quarterback.
I was too harsh on
Damn.
Brian Thomas Jr. and I apologize, and he's a good football player, but Malik Neighbors has had Tommy DeVito and Drew Lock throwing him the ball. When he had Daniel Jones throwing him the ball, he was putting up 100 yards and 2 touchdowns a game. And
Bro, we got Mac Jones throwing the football for us right now.
I'd rather have Mac Jones than Tommy DeVito.
That's a crazy take. That's a crazy
You
take.
think that Tommy DeVito this year? Tommy DeVito had like 2 good games last year, and it was awesome. But he is terrible at
Yeah,
NFL.
but Mac Jones went to Alabama and
Well,
is
hold on, no. Well, Brian, that's bullshit, Brian, because you said this will be really fun.
Yeah, I was excited, but he's not good.
This is not fun. I mean, it's fun for me to watch, but this is no way in hell fun for the Giants fan base.
No, it's terrible. They were 16-point underdogs today, and they didn't even come close to cover. It's horrible. You're an NFL 16-point underdog. I guess they
Wow.
kind of came close. They came within 5 points, but
Yeah, that's a lot of points for being
college
on the
spread.
road. Yeah,
it's terrible.
yeah, it was wild. But yeah, I mean, we open up this slot for Jags and Giants talk. We have to merge them both in to one segment here because they're all both in the midst of dumpster fire seasons. Yeah, I got a pounding headache. I can't get too far into these teams. I said my piece on the jerseys of the Jaguars, and Giants I had nothing on other than calling Brian out for saying this will at least be fun with Tommy DeVito.
I thought
This
it
will
would
be
be,
fun.
and it's not. I thought it would be.
It's
and it is
really
not.
bad. I mean, he hurt himself today?
I don't know what the deal is. He's not going to have a job in the NFL after this season. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Maybe a third string somewhere else, but he's just what? He's a third 3-star quarterback. 3-star quarterback coming out of
Syracuse.
high school. No, but he went to Syracuse as a 3-star. Was he even that good at Syracuse?
I don't really remember hearing him. There was never a Tommy DeVito game.
Right.
Like college football.
Look, Brian Thomas has twice the amount of touchdowns that Malik Neighbors does this year, and
He has more
yards.
touchdowns than him at LSU. That doesn't.
And he's got more yards than him.
Yeah, Neighbors has not done anything with DeVito or Drew Lock. Dude, there was an
Right.
all-22 of Malik Neighbors running a comeback route, and there was no one within like 10 yards of him, and Tommy DeVito just scrambled the other direction and got like 2 yards. And that's when I just said, all right, I can't watch the New York Giants play football anymore.
Brian Thomas Jr. or Malik Neighbors as Rookie of the Year?
Brian, if it was between those two, Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas will probably get more votes. Honestly, it's
Convincing
probably going to
answer out of
be
Jack.
Jaden Daniels is going to win it, though.
it's going to be Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and then probably Brian Thomas Jr.
Is that where it sits right now?
I would think that's how the votes lie. Oh, no, wait, Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers would be up there, too.
It'll go Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Bo Nix.
Is Bowers the only one with over 1,000 yards, or does Brian Thomas and Neighbors?
They're both right around 800.
And what about Bowers?
I don't think Bowers has 1,000 yet.
He might.
We might.
He's had a couple duds. That's the only reason I think maybe not. He's at 933, so he'll get to 1,000.
He should be able to get there. I mean, that's like what, 20 yards a game rest of the way?
87 catches for 933 and 4 touchdowns. It's a hell of a year.
He could get that in one game.
Yeah, 4 games left, so he only needs like 15 a game.
Yeah, you figure at least one of those games he'll get like 50.
Yeah. Now, speaking of 1,000 yards here, I guess we could move on to the late games. And Mike Evans is kind of closing in. He needs to average 83.6 yards per game in his last 3 to get to 1,000.
Which would be crazy with how much time he's missed.
Yeah, he went crazy today at 159, and they didn't even throw the ball in the fourth quarter because they killed him.
Yeah, that was a shock in itself, and we could, obviously talk about that game because I don't think, maybe they didn't think the Chargers would win, but I was not expecting a 23-point loss to the Buccaneers. I mean that had to have people, especially after almost beating the Chiefs last week, to that dud coming out. Where's you, and then going and seeing the Broncos win 31-13. I mean, how are you even confident in the Chargers anymore?
Yeah, I need to get in the lab and watch this game a little more closely. I'm still just not sure how the Bucs were this efficient on offense. I mean, I know Baker's been cooking, but going 22 of 27, 288, 4 passing touchdowns. I mean, that's a hell of a day.
Yeah, the Chargers defense has slowly been regressing. And not even regressing, they've just been terrible.
Yeah, that's what I got to get in the lab and figure out. Like, are they hurt right now? Like, I think Bosa's out, right? Khalil Mack might be healthy. I'm not
Khalil
sure.
Mack's been in and out. I'm not sure if he was in for this one, but yeah.
Definitely I need to check this one out.
Even on the offensive side, I know we don't have an Auburn Bowlmas episode this year, unfortunately, but I got to work him into the show when I can. First time Justin Herbert's thrown a pick since September. Went 12 games without it. And Mr. Jamel Dean, War Eagle, picked him off.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
We got a War Eagle from you.
Yeah. I didn't even realize I just said that.
That's crazy. That might be the first ever War Eagle we've gotten from you in over a year of the show.
Definitely is. I know it is.
We're gonna have to clip that off.
Yeah, no. Next time Auburn basketball wins, that's going on our story.
Have fun with that one. Clip that audio. What do we got here, dude? So yeah, the Bucs obviously blew out the Chargers, and then the Broncos go ahead and make things way more interesting. So where does that leave? Are they tied now? The Broncos and the Chargers?
Yeah, they're both sitting there at 8-6. And then the Ravens are 9-5. Steelers lead that division.
So that's crazy. What, the Chargers were 8-3?
Yeah, are they on a 3-game?
I thought they were 9-3.
No, they definitely have 8 wins. I didn't realize they were.
The Chargers have lost 3 out of their last 4.
Ooh.
They lost to the Ravens, they lost to the Chiefs, and the Bucs, and they beat the Falcons by 4 points in the middle of there.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the Patriots and the Raiders, so they're definitely going to get 9 wins. They'll probably finish with 10. It's going to be between the Broncos and the Bengals probably for that last spot, and the Broncos have the big advantage.
Here's a question: who would you
Well,
rather see get in? I think I'm rooting for Bo Nix and the Broncos.
Brian, the Chargers have a 1 game advantage, or I mean the Broncos have a 1 game advantage on the Chargers right now, but they play each other next week. And
No, do the Broncos have 9 wins?
yeah, the Broncos have 9 wins.
Oh, that really puts a wrench in things. Okay, so I need the Broncos to lose out, or the Chargers to lose out.
Yeah, the Chargers have 9 wins, right?
Chargers have 8, but they're not
8.
gonna. They have the easier schedule. So yeah, I really. Ooh. Okay. Well, yeah, that's tough. But the Broncos could
Yeah.
lose out because they still get the Chargers and the Chiefs.
And then where are, I guess I should say, my Cardinals, where they stand in the NFC playoff mix? They did win today.
They did win today, but it's not looking too hot for them.
Well, what are they, 7-8?
They're
They needed
7
to
and
win last
7,
7-7.
but the wild card right now is Vikings at 11-2, Packers at 9-4, and they're playing right. They're leading Seattle 7-0 as we're recording this, and then the Commanders at 9-5, and the Rams ahead of the Cardinals too at 8-6.
The
Yeah,
Bucs
not
are 8-6.
Yeah, the Bucs are going to win that division, I think, unless the Falcons can somehow figure it out.
No, that it seems like the Bucs winning that game today and the way they won it, they seem like they got to be the team to get it done now.
Yeah.
The Cardinals' most direct path might be, I mean, they don't have the tiebreaker over Seattle, so it's going to be really tough, but it might be the winning the West.
Yeah, it very well could, but we see the Niners are coming on strong, right? Well, although they had that ugly loss on
Yeah,
Thursday, right?
they're 6-8, so they're actually in last place in that division.
Yeah. That game, that loss to the Rams may have eliminated them.
Yeah,
That was a big loss.
which I'm not complaining about.
Yeah, well, the Cardinals kind of control. They don't control their own destiny because they need Seattle to lose, but they get the Panthers and then they get the Rams, so they can beat the Rams. They can
Yeah,
jump ahead of them and then the Niners to end it.
they
Wow.
just basically need to win out.
Yeah, and get some
And,
help from
and then
Seattle.
if the Seahawks lose tonight,
Yeah,
they're
see,
right there to win the West.
I think the Seahawks still have the Rams to play too.
Romeo Dobbs just caught a touchdown too. It's about to be 14-0.
Jordan Love during Toyota Phone.
This was all Dobbs, dude. This was a grown man touchdown.
Yeah, Seattle gets the Vikings next week. Very losable game. It is at home. Then the Bears on the road, and then the Rams on the road. It's not a cakewalk.
Definitely not.
Nope. All right, before my head explodes, why don't we jump into what we're watching this week? New segment that we're going to start doing to see the people want to know. Brian, why don't you introduce it, dude?
Yeah, I do want to do a quick shout out here because this is a wild stat. Trey McBride had 9 more catches today. He has 89 on the season without a touchdown. That is the most ever in NFL history. Deontay Johnson had the record with 86 in 2022. I think you had him on your fantasy team that year, actually, Matt. And McBride's at 938 receiving yards. The record for most receiving yards without a touchdown is Al Toon in 1991. He had 963.
He hasn't scored a touchdown all year.
All year he has not scored one. So he has the most receptions, and he needs 25 more receiving yards without a touchdown to have the most receiving yards ever without a touchdown.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I think he had a catch today on the 1-yard line, and he got stuffed.
I was gonna say, why don't we just get this man in the end zone?
Dude, what were the odds on Trey McBride not to score a touchdown this year?
I don't know where you could find that bet, but
I don't know either.
Find that anywhere.
go up to like a Caesar Sportsbook and just tell them, hey, Trey McBride's not going to score a touchdown. Take my money. Give me odds.
Yeah, make me a line. They would.
Probably would.
Probably create go to their back guys and ask for the analysis on what it would be, and then bang, give you some great odds. But Brian, what's this? What we're watching for a segment? Why don't you tell the people, because it's clearly I'm struggling to speak right now. I feel like what's it, CTE guy in the NFL?
Yeah, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, it's your flu game here to open up Bowlmas. I love it.
It really is.
But yeah, no, I'll shout out you for the segment idea. It was a good idea, especially during Bowlmas when we're not going to talk to these people live again until next Monday, since we have all these backloaded episodes that are pre-recorded. But yeah, we're just going to go through, kind of run what we're watching this week in the sports world, or maybe not in the sports world. I know I have one thing not in the sports world that I'll be watching, but what the guys up in the nosebleeds will be looking forward to, and what you maybe should be looking forward to, because we're going to talk about it probably on Monday.
Yeah. Jack, you want to kick us off? You got one for us?
I do, yeah. I mean, as you know, the Auburn basketball team is phenomenal. And they also have a great matchup against number 11 Purdue this Saturday in Birmingham. So I'm looking forward to watching number 2 Auburn take on number 11 Purdue. It's going to be a great game Saturday. There's not college football this Saturday, I don't think. So that'll be good to watch.
Yeah, Purdue is
round
limping into that
college
game.
Football playoff this Saturday, dude.
Is that when it starts this Saturday?
Well, Friday night.
Yep.
I felt for some reason like we were going to get a little bit of a break there, but I guess not.
No, we'll have the Indiana show to preview the Friday night game on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we got Penn State to preview that game on Saturday.
But on your Auburn game that with or without football will be going down, I think Auburn is going to smoke them. Purdue is not that good. They lost by like 15 on the road at Penn State, which I know Penn State's more respectable, but they got cooked. Where it's in Birmingham as well. I think Purdue's getting a lot of love, and they're just not as good. Now, I don't know if I just jinxed them and they'll keep it close, but Auburn is legit, and I'm not sold on this Purdue team at all. I think number 11 is an absolute smokescreen.
Yeah, Painter's still trying to figure out how to replace Zach Edey, and Hildy in the middle is not very good, at least right now, especially when you have Janai Broom that's going to be guarding him. And then Braden Smith is their guard that's going to try to make plays. But Denver Jones is one of the best defensive guards in the country. So,
and who's number 13 on Auburn?
Miles Kelly.
That guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got a great shot.
Where did he come from?
Georgia Tech.
He's unbelievable. Look, Auburn's good this year. Again, we know we have to get to March before we can fully trust them, but it looks a lot brighter than last year, and that's for sure.
I'm getting worried. They are the odds-on favorite to win. I believe they might be tied with Duke right now, but they're like plus 150 to get to the Final Four, which is just very terrifying.
That is terrifying.
I think Janai Broom's also odds-on favorite for the Wooden Award,
which is deserving so far. But again,
first Auburn player since the 90s to have a 20-20 game. 21 rebounds, 20 assists. 21 points, 20 rebounds. Also,
who's the last guy? Charles Barkley?
No, it wasn't Barkley. I forget his name. I wrote about it, so I should know his name, but it's some guy I never heard of.
It's all good. Brian, why don't you give us your what to watch for this week?
Yeah, before the football kicks off and before Auburn takes on Purdue, they do have Georgia State, but I'll have to watch that because I'll have to write about it. They might win that game by 75. But on Wednesday, after I watch our Bowlmas episode, we have the Survivor finale. And I'm a big Survivor guy. Looking forward to that.
Survivor guy.
So I'll be watching that along with on the computer. I'll have Michigan and Oklahoma on. A little 13 versus 14 matchup. SEC Big Ten.
That's a good one. Yeah, for mine, I don't think North Carolina is ranked, but they take on number 9 Florida. And I'm interested to see what this Florida team's really about because, if we remember back 07, 08, 09 when they had, Joakim Noah.
Horford.
I think the last team is, before UConn to win back-to-back.
Yep.
I think Brad Beal was there. So they had some very, very good teams. So I'm just interested to see they're finally back inside the top 10. Like I said, ranked 9th in the country. They have the one white guy who's like 7 feet 5 inches or something like that. He's ridiculously tall.
Yeah, he got hurt in the end. Was that the SEC championship game against Auburn last year?
Are you talking about Castleton?
No, there's a different guy.
Just say, I feel like that guy graduated like.
No, there's a different guy.
Maybe I'm thinking of their star is Walter Clayton, the guard. He's a monster.
Yeah, so I mean will Auburn face off against them this year?
I think they have them on the schedule. It's always weird. Yeah, they do play them in Neville Arena, so Auburn will be favored in that. But they could always play them in the SEC tournament, and they never play Florida well. They play them better at home, but yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
This Oliver Rio dude.
Yeah,
I've seen this guy. Yeah,
Dude, that SEC is so good at basketball.
he's 7'9".
Yeah, like ridiculous.
Yeah, he's going to give Janai Broome a lot of issues.
That's why I was thinking that matching up, could be a fun game. Maybe not for you guys, as it could be more stressful. But
they also have.
It's always interesting when Janai Broome actually has some kind of matchup and where he actually has to try.
Yeah, the Duke gave him issues. They have your guy from FAU, Elijah Martin, too. Is
that where he went?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why they're starting to be great, dude. I mean, like I said, they've been so bad for so long, and now they're finally back in the top 10. That's the power of the transfer portal, though, right?
Yep. And the last couple of years they've been decent, but yeah, this is the first year they've really been good.
First year where they could really be good, but
the over-under in that game might be like 190. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say that's the what to watch for segment. I'm sure the guys will have a little bit more energy for the next one. What you guys don't know, the last week or so, we've been recording long episodes. I've had a headache for a week and a half, which is just totally ridiculous in itself. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow a lot better, feeling a lot better, and we'll keep rocking and rolling with the content. That's all I got, unless you guys got anything else. I'm better go to bed.
Yeah, it was our flu game. It was a tough Bowlmas day one, but we got through it, and it's going to be better from here. I can't wait to bring the people 12 Days of Bowlmas.
Bang! I can't wait. I almost, halfway through that, I forgot it was even a Bowlmas episode. That's how off the rocker my head was, dude. Holy smokes. I got I started getting really into this Florida basketball team, dude.
Yeah, we'll need Will to add some Christmas music here at the end to remind people it's the Bowlmas season.
Indeed. But as always, Matt, Jack, and Brian bring you along all the action. I got nothing, man.
Get some sleep.
Peace.